Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Energetics Podcast. I am your host, Kara Bunde-Dunn, and today I'm going to taking you behind the scenes of a journey that I have been quietly on with a few close friends for the last 6 months. And every month, I have been reading one chapter of this book called The Way of the Heart. And it's called The Way of the Heart, the Christ Mind Trilogy, Volume 1. And it is a deep dive into Christ consciousness. What is Christ here to teach us? What are we meant to be learning? This is not a book that you just try to like cram through. A handful of us from all around the world hop on a Zoom once a month on a Sunday, and we sit with this book and we let each chapter unfold 1 month at a time. It's been really beautiful to go through this journey with a few close friends and to experience this idea of how do I absorb and embody and let the lessons of Christ unfold as they're meant to move through me. And this book in particular is where this individual wrote this book by basically channeling the teachings of Christ and channeling what it is that he is trying to teach us. And I have had my own experiences through some meditations and deep prayer where I can feel the presence of Jesus. And it's like, I sometimes hesitate even talking about it because I'm sure people will be like, okay, yeah, sure. But the reality is, it is like the most overwhelming energy and force of love. Like it fills the whole room, it pushes me back in my chair. It's so hard to explain how powerful it feels, but it's real. It's really, really, really real. And so I thought that it would be interesting because the Christmas season is coming, whether you relate to the Christmas season or not. It is, a pretty secular holiday. It is something that's coming up here very soon. And I thought, you know what? I truly believe there is no better teacher that has ever walked the earth around teaching us unconditional love, how to tap into living from your higher self, and how to truly live heaven on earth. So I thought what might be helpful for all of you and interesting reflections for me as well is to just go through each month of and each lesson, the first 6 lessons of this book, and just share an aha that I had that hit my heart in a deep, deep way. So the first lesson in the book that I is all about understanding desires and understanding that desiring something is actually holy and beautiful and it is given to us by God. And I really had a struggle with this one. Because I have this idea of desiring is like material things. I desire a trip. I desire a car. I desire first class seats on my plane. I desire this. I desire that. And it's such a surface level way to think about the word. Because when we really, truly think about what we desire, what we truly want, and what our heart desires is usually peace, love, freedom, space, the ability to express ourselves authentically. I mean, how to live out our talents in the most beautiful way possible. Those are the types of things that resonate with me when I think about the word desire. And I tend to notice that I have some old conditioning around this word. And spending a whole entire month around the idea of desire and what it is that God is trying to show us when we think about breaking down that lesson. And, it was just, I just even want to like read a little part of it that I underlined because it's so freaking powerful and what it is that we're here to teach us. So, all perceptions, all judgments, all desires that have ever held by anyone or anything, they arise in your mind and they will not disturb your peace. And you will smile and you will see that within your consciousness has arisen all saintlyhood and all of that is within you. And so it just talks about rising above distractions, rising above experiences, and stepping into this idea of who you truly are. And that is a better, deeper, more understanding of desire than anything that we could put into us from a human perspective. So I just ask you, what do you desire? What does your heart really, really, really want? And I'm not talking about like the new sneaks that I purchased for myself in celebration of this lovely podcast, but I'm talking about like your heart. What is your heart speaking to you right now? That is holy. That is a God spark. That comes from within you. Okay, then month two, we the lesson there for me, or the bigger, deeper reflection for me, was this idea that we create our own experiences by choosing what we value. What is it that you value? What is it that is important to you? And I really spent some time thinking about what I value and where I let my mind consume me. Am I valuing fear? Am I valuing like productivity and success? Am I validating or valuing external validations and approvals from others? Am I valuing love? Am I valuing compassion? Am I valuing curiosity? Where is my energy going? And where my energy goes is what I put value on. So it's not your core values, which of course is, but it made me think about this. Like, what I value is what I allow into my energetic field. That's what I value. That's what's important to me. That's what gets to take up real estate. So, are you speaking your truth? Are you valuing what feels authentic to you? Are you valuing um, love for yourself and for others? Or are you noticing that you're being pretty reactive, that you're being pretty judgmental, that you're focusing on 3D human success measures, not on what you would want to say as you're like passing from this world to the next? And you know, I spent a lot of time thinking about this because when I hear the word value, I think of values, my core values, like love, kindness, freedom, etc. And I want you just to take a minute to think about, what do I let consume me? What do I let hold space in my mind? And that is what I value. And if that isn't what you value, then I believe Christ is asking us to reconsider what gets real estate in our brains and in our hearts. Okay, then the next lesson I wanted to share was this idea that you're never really upset for the reason that you think you are. It's usually a very surface level thing. And sometimes we are triggered. We're triggered by situations, by people, and it's showing us where we're still wounded. It's showing us where we still have work to do. It's showing us where we're not in love for humanity. And it's showing us what's unraveling inside of us. And I truly believe this. Everything that triggers you is there to teach you. And if you are still triggered by something, it is a part of you that is still unhealed. So go deeper, go back, go in a layer. And this is kind of tricky because you're like, oh my God, why does this person trigger me? Every time I see him, I get the ick. I'm like, ugh. Okay, there's something to learn there. And if you think about like Jesus walking the earth for real, right? We're moving into this Christmas season here. You're like, he's walking the earth. He's seeing prostitutes. He's seeing, people like, people with illnesses on the street, leprosy and this and that and the other. And he's seeing people judge him. He's seeing people not believe him. He's seeing all of these people say all of these things about him. And is he fazed by that? No, not really. Like, that's just, he's not triggered. There is nothing you can say or do that it's going to shake his foundation. And that, my friends, is where the power lives. Like, truly, that is where the power lives. When we're no longer triggered by anything or anyone, we probably don't need to be human anymore. We can probably just go right on up to heaven's pearly gates and call it a day. Be like, I'm ready to clock in. My soul is fully expanded. I'm good. Let's rock and roll. But if you are anything like me, you are still a human. You're still working through stuff and you're still triggered. So I ask that you get curious with yourself, because you're not upset for the reason that you think. It is not because of them. It is because of you. So unravel it, unwind it, and see what you can learn about yourself. Okay, then lesson 4, it's about how we are all free, how we are absolutely all free to do and be whatever it is that we're meant to be. And so I think this is super powerful. It repeats over and over and over again that we are not trapped, we are not powerless, we are not beholden to our past. We are free right here, right now, in the now, in our inner state, inside our soul. Not our outer soul, not our outer conditioning, but our insides. Our insides are free, absolutely free. And we get to decide what we do next. We get to decide how we live. It's not that shit happened to us. It's that now I get to decide what I'm going to do with it. My freedom lives in my power. My freedom lives in my presence. My freedom lives in the now. It makes me think about, I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but I'm thinking about like John McCain and how he was a prisoner of war, or Nelson Mandela, who was in prison for 25 years. And you think they left that experience and it didn't consume them. It didn't break them. In fact, it built them into the people that they became. They were not powerless in what happened to them or beholden to their past. They decided to do something with what happened to them, and they took back their power and they lived in the freedom of that, of the now. And I think that's a really powerful thing for us when we think about our healing journeys with our health, with boundaries, with even things like social media and the power it can have over us. And when you go, you know what? I do not need to be in doom scrolling. I am not powerless. I can right now put my freaking phone down and go do something. I am free to choose again. I am free to freaking choose again. And I think there's such power in that. So you are free in every moment of your life because you are in the present moment right now. We don't have to live in the past and we don't have to fear the future. We can literally just be in the present right now. Okay, lesson 5, the aha for me there, that everything is neutral. The world is a neutral place, and only we can give it meaning. Meaning, I get to choose if I'm going to have a victim consciousness or if I'm going to have Christ consciousness in this moment. Nothing means anything until we give it meaning, until we assign it meaning. And this is not spiritual bypassing. This is not just like, okay, I'm just not going to give that meaning. And so now I don't have to process it. Now I don't have to think about it. Now I can just move on. No, that isn't how it works, right? It's reclaiming our authorship of our life. We have the pen in our hand. We have the paper. We have the notebook. We get to write what our life is. We get to decide what we give meaning to and what we don't give meaning to. So if you're in a stressful situation or you're navigating something challenging, I ask you, are you in a place of neutral about it? Can you be neither upset or over the top joyed about it? Can you get to a place where you're like, oh, okay, I'm detached from it. I'm neutral from it. I'm like an observer. I'm floating over the top of it and I can just see what I'm meant to see. And it takes practice, this lesson. It takes a super deep practice to be able to see the world from a place of neutral. In fact, it's really hard for me. Like I catch myself doing two things when I am observing what's happening in someone else, and I'm not thinking about how it applies to me, and I'm just observing somebody, judging somebody, whatever it might be. I tend to say things like, I understand why they are the way that they are, but I wish that they would step out of that. I wish that they would yada, yada, yada. And the reality is, I don't get to do that for them. I don't get to say what I wish somebody would choose differently or how I wish somebody would vibrate differently. All that I can do is observe them and love them and have compassion for them, but I don't have to enable them or enable me or let myself get into the thick of it all. I can just be a neutral observer. And I ask you to do that with somebody or something that is causing some stress or some hiccups in your life right now. Ask yourself, how can I get to a place of neutral for this particular topic? Okay. So Not an easy one for me, and probably not an easy one for you either. And then lesson 6 that I just finished this month is the idea that forgiveness is the key to remembering your soul. This is the power of remembering who you truly are. And not forgiveness as in, I'm letting you off the hook. I forgive you for the shitty thing that you did. No, it's about clarity. It's about seeing with 2020 vision. It's about recognizing that forgiveness gives all of your power back to yourself and lets go of all of the pain that you're holding on to. So, forgiveness is choosing love instead of living in the shadow and the fear and the darkness. Forgiveness is a way to dissolve those illusions, to carry yourself forward, to love yourself and others more, to be reflective. I mean, forgiveness is the most powerful thing that you can do to raise your vibrational frequency out of fear and into love. I love the Ho'oponopono prayer. I talked about it last week. I absolutely think it is a game changer, and the power of that is like it's such a simple prayer, and it's 4 lines, right? And it's really the entire prayer is about this idea of forgiveness and love. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. That's it. It's 4 lines. So simple. And it's like saying, I'll recognize my part in this, even if it was that I had a reaction that I didn't love. And I'm not going to be like, you're 98% responsible and I'm 2% responsible. It doesn't freaking matter. Forgiveness gives you your power back. It allows you to choose love instead of fear. And I often feel like you don't have to even tell somebody, I forgive you or please forgive me. You can just energetically do it and it shifts your vibrational frequency. I remember when I first had my spiritual abilities awaken, I had a few moments in the corporate world I wish I could have taken back. A company was going through downsizing. I had to follow the HR processes. I had to, read the script, say, hey, you don't have a job anymore, yada, yada, yada. And I would have given anything to handle a couple of those differently and give them a heads up because I had such a meaningful relationship with them. But I felt like I should do what the HR team tells me to do. And it made that person feel like I was a robot, like I didn't care, like I didn't have love and compassion for them and their families. And it was years later, and I called each of those people. One took my call, one did not. And I just said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for how I handled what happened to you. And I want you to know I would do it differently if I could. And one person was like non responsive. And the other one was like, I've been waiting for this call for 4 years. I have been waiting, Kara, for you to say that because I felt like we had this deep connection and I felt so jaded, like you didn't even care. And it broke my heart because I cared deeply. And I had people tell me, don't call her. She don't want to talk to you. Don't do it. I said, I don't freaking care. I want to say that I'm sorry. I want to forgive myself. And I want to hold space for her to forgive me if she can. And I'm so glad I did not listen to the people that told me not to call her because it was such a healing moment for us. And forgiveness can do that. Forgiveness is so freaking powerful. And it opens up a door inside of you and it helps you to soften towards yourself and soften towards others and soften to the past, recognizing it's all a giant lesson. It's all here to teach us something powerful. And as you navigate through your own spiritual journey, I just want to say to you that I love you, that I see you, and that your journey matters. And that you can always choose again. Over and over again, we always get to choose again. And there is no better teacher for us to emulate when we think about love and compassion and kindness and how we want to show up in the world than Christ and this idea of Christ consciousness. And that we are all one. We are all connected. We are all on a journey. I have this beautiful meditation inside the energetics mentorship community, and it's in this lesson around the power of oneness. It's a masterclass that I teach in there, or that I taught inside of there. And and my guides and angels channeled this meditation to me about this beautiful gold thread of interconnectedness that connects all of us. Imagine one gold thread threaded into every single person on the entire planet, and that it all goes together and swirls into a giant ball and circle of gold light and gold thread. That we're all connected, some close to us, some not close to us at all, but we are all part of this collective consciousness. And when you raise your vibrational frequency and I raise my vibrational frequency, we are walking the path of Christ consciousness. We are walking the path of awakenedness. We are walking the path of listening to our heart and listening to our soul and choosing to expand and choose again when we get it wrong and to give ourselves that compassion as we navigate through it. So I hope that this hit your heart in some way, shape, or form. And I hope that you recognize the beautiful teacher that we have and how we're reminded of him and what he did for this planet. Whether you're a Christian or not, allow him to be a beautiful role model and example for us on how we can vibrate in the energy and frequency of love. Until next time, my friends, I love you and I'm rooting for you.